It's episode 1, season 1 of the VODCAST podcasting by Integer. We're doing Resident Evil 8, The Medium, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Google shutdown hype, not hype, more like bad news, worries, and some YouTube stuff. It's coming up right now. Let's do it! Nice, I like it. Alright, looks like everything worked. So, welcome guys, this is the first episode, as I said already. We're gonna try this thing out, see how it goes. It's the first, so give feedback, don't forget to subscribe and all that good stuff. It should be available in podcast and vodcast form. This is the vodcast if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're on Spotify and what have you, I guess it would be podcast. I don't know how to do any of that yet. We're doing it for the first time, let's see how it goes. So first off, let's do that Resident Evil 8 Village coverage. So, I need to do this, and I need to do this. You guys can't see. If you can't see, don't worry, watch the podcast thing. The first thing we have to do, though, is we do have to talk about some sad news first. I thought it'd be a good idea to mention that a voice actress on Resident Evil 8 has unfortunately passed away in the last 11 days or so. She is the face of one of Lady Dimitrescu's witches. And very young, very unfortunate. So thoughts, prayers and everything else with her friends and family, loved ones. And yeah, I hope we will enjoy her work. I'm sure we will in Resident Evil 8. So keep that in mind, keep the good thoughts and vibes. And let's get into it. With that aside, the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that we can get ourselves a $1,500 Chris Redfield Cole. And interestingly, we've been doing Resident Evil 7 in VR. So if you haven't been in any of the streams on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/theinteger, which should be at the top there, top right if you're watching on the video. We still have the 2 DLCs to go, which is the banned footage 1 and 2, which will be in VR as well. All in preparation of Resident Evil 8 Village, and we've got some other Resident Evil stuff. So if you want to see some brave clutch speedrun strategies and brave gameplay, you don't want to watch one of all these guys always screaming like a little bitch on the gaming, then don't watch these streams. Okay, so yeah, Capcom is charging $1,500 for Chris Redfield's Born Resident Evil card, according to PC Gamer. I think it looks kind of dope. There's a bigger image of it if you're watching in a VOD form or in a podcast form. It's basically got no buttons. It's black. It's the coat you can see him wearing in any of the promo footage for thingy. I think I need to belch. Oh, thank God for mute buttons. So yeah, it looks pretty dope. I'd wear that. It'll go with my sensor style. I would like some buttons though. I ain't gonna lie. The fact that it's got no buttons is... I don't know. It's kind of a little bit disappointing. But you put buttons on that thing and then instantly, it's a definite buy. But otherwise, you know, it's just not too bad. So go through a list here. Oh yeah, we do need to talk about Resident Evil Reverse as well. I have to speak about that. So what's the date of Resident Evil Village coming out again? It's May. Oh, you guys know. May 7th, it seems. Yeah, May 7th. So yeah, we're getting prepped for that. We're doing Resident Evil stuff on the channel. We've got Resident Evil 2 remake, 3 remake, old school on the PS3. We've got everything you could need. So go and do that. Follow that stuff. Follow on the Spotify and wherever else this may be as well, if you ain't already. And you're liking this this format of things. How long have I spoken about? Only 5 minutes. I'm trying to keep things to like 10 minutes or so. So Resident Evil Reverse, in case you don't know, was in closed beta between the 28th and 29th, I think it was. And it was, or is, to be released with Resident Evil Village or Resident Evil 8. The aforementioned, we can get this cool code $1,500. I don't know, guys, we might have to do a GoFundMe for that. I don't know. But yeah, we got a key. What do we call it? A code? It was pretty good, actually. It's basically a team deathmatch. And I should have some gameplay here, actually. if you're watching the VOD form. Oh, got me audio. Let's not have that though. There we go. So it's pretty good, I'd say. It's basically a team deathmatch in Resident Evil style, so obviously third-person view, and you can collect little vials that, when you die, you can become a powerfuler bioweapon, and that's quite interesting as well. It adds a little bit of difference to it. I was pretty terrible at first, got a little bit better towards the middle and end as I start to get the mechanics on that. But it's literally a team deathmatch. You can play as the classic El Clasico, pork pie hat boy tyrant. You can play as those acidy things if you're watching in the video form. You have electric. Each person has two kind of like weapons, a standard and then a more special weapon that you have to collect ammo for. You also have different moves with the infected, which makes them more fun to play, themselves. You have kill streaks and so forth. And it was in the police station map itself. The rounds are pretty quick. You just play pretty quickly, do your specials. Each character's have different specials and stuff. Like I think it's Claire has the electric stun, kind of like trap thing that you can put on the floor. And as we're seeing here, I almost called her Maya there. What's her name? Ada can do some mad ninja flip thing. It's pretty nuts. Some seem to be more powerful than others. I don't know if there's going to be level ups and stuff. Remember, this is a closed beta demo that we had access to. They picked at random. So yeah, it was pretty good. And it was definitely fun to play for what it was. I don't know if it's going to do anything more than Resident Evil Resistance, which was more like in the vein of Left 4 Dead. I think it's going to have less stickiness than Left 4 Dead, maybe. I'm not Left 4 Dead, than Resistance, which is more like Left 4 Dead. But it's not the Resident Evil Outbreak that everyone was looking for, so I suppose that's something to think about. But it's going to be free with Resident Evil Village, and it will be a fun distraction for a minute. I think Village looks like it will be a little bit longer than Resident Evil 3 Remake, though. So there you go with that. Not much else to really say. Fun, but don't think it will last very long. So what else do I have here? So that's so we have a trailer. This should have been actually somewhere else in the order here in my Chrome, as I show you in the VODCAST part of the podcast. It's a trailer for Resident Evil Village, basically. I have to try and remember when doing this format that we are covering for audio as well as visual, and I have to kind of make sure, so I have to be very, very careful not to nuke this whole thing. Gotta be careful. There she is, though. We've got to talk about Lady Dimitrescu. Can we get some? Do we want to dare get some audio on her? I don't know. Shut up. Okay, it's enough. So yeah, she is one tall chick. So this doesn't need to be here. I got another clip of some of our gameplay with in VR for Chris's DLC, Not a Hero, which was pretty good as well, by the way, in Resident Evil 7. The beginning part was annoying. You're just running around, it's dark, you don't know what you're doing. But once we got it together, both the DLCs were good. And then One Punch Man Joe and DLC 2 End of Zoe. Definitely worth playing, guys. My thoughts on those. How much time are we running here? I got to watch our time, because I want to keep everything to about 10 minutes per piece. And then, yeah, I'm going to the heights here. So, if you're watching visually, and I'll try and describe everything if you're only listening audibly. Pandora's Box here on Reddit created this amazing little thing here. He or she said we could use in our video podcast thing here, so we're doing it. But check him or her out on the Reddit. I'll try and remember to put a link. And these are all the comparisons of all the heights. So Lady Dimitrescu, I'm butchering her name, I'm sure, in Resident Evil 8 is 9'6". 9'6".
Oh.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty. I'm scared. That's taller than Nemesis in Resi 3. He stands at 8 foot. Mr. X is 7 foot, not including his hat. Morpheus, I've never played Morpheus Dead Aim, but she's 6 foot. Leon S. Kennedy himself is 5'11". He's taller than me. That's disappointing. Anyway, and yeah, obviously Resident Evil Classic Tyrant is 8'7", and Cantos Resident Evil Outbreak, the one that everyone was hoping and waiting for Capcom to announce is going to be part of something. And they keep getting everything but he is 12 foot. But the tallest of the humanoid bunch in Resident Evil, according to the sheet here we have here on the screen, is Resident Evil Damnation's 013, which is, I thought he was meant to be the same guy that was going to be Mr. X, but I don't think they're the same dudes. And we were gonna, incidentally, we were gonna watch those Resident Evils on Amazon Prime, and they only went and removed them. We're gonna watch them for a certain person's birthday a few days ago. I don't know, some dude, you know. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Yeah. Apparently, that person might share a birthday with Jacksepticeye. Ain't it funny how one person can get like millions of happy birthday, and even if you're not Loki, you put you under pressure in the streaming space if you're sharing your birthdays and stuff, and you know, you're lucky if you get even 2 people saying happy birthday, right? If you do that, it's not good. It's not good. But you know, I don't want the pressure, so I don't tell anybody. It's all good. Anyway, I think that's all of the things we wanted to cover in Resident Evil segment of our thing. I'm taking off stuff off of our list here. Resident Evil. Oh, there's one big thing I wanted to talk about actually, and that is in regards to Resident Evil Village. I want to say that I think that Ethan. I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on this. What do you guys think of Ethan as a character? Do you think that he's See, I think he's kind of a generic guy, because all of the characters in Resident Evil, and I, as sure as many of yourself, has played many Resident Evils, if not all of them. I can't think of any Resident Evils that has a character less of a character than Ethan. Ethan doesn't even have an official face, as far as I'm aware, and he's just very generic. He's not a Leon, he's not iconic, he's not a Chris. I was hoping that we would be playing as Chris in Resident Evil 8. It looks like this Chris is in the story, but not a playable main, you know? And I get the whole first-person camera thing, be more scary, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I get that, you know, I understand that. But can't we just be first-person Chris? I don't know. He's just so generic. I just don't have any feeling towards him. Nothing negative. He's not irritating, but he's not interesting, you know? He's not tall, dark, and mysterious for the ladies or nothing. So I don't know, man. I just think he's a little bit, you know, he's a little bit generic to me. And I'm interested to see what you guys' thoughts are. So feel free to comment wherever you want to, and wherever you can. We have Discords and, you know, all sorts. Also, if you want to have access to the Velvet Room, there is the Patreon as well, where you can help not only with your fantastic presents that you already are now, but you can also drop $1 or more. You have to pay more than $1 to get into the Velvet Room, though. Just warning you. But yeah, do subscribe and follow and all that kind of different thing. I don't know what the terms are for Discord, not Discord, but Spotify, what have you. Assuming I get this all on Spotify and everything works, I don't know. I'm doing this for the first time, guys, so just give me feedback. But let's move on, shall we? That's my ideas on it, though. I'm just wondering about his character's been a little bit too much of a generic boy. And the focus on him is just not. You don't get the same feeling of like Leon or what have you, or Claire or Jill. He's just not in that bracket for me. So I don't know. But doesn't he really care? Maybe no one cares. So I guess we can move on. Very like sharp into just move on. You fool. All right, that's all of our Resident Evil stuff. So now we're gonna move on to discussing for a moment and give my early thoughts on The Medium by Bloober Team. Right, so The Medium was released in a couple of days ago. You can see how much research I've done for this, right? And also, do I need to change my camera size for anyone that's VODing? or not VODing, podcasting. Yeah, got it smaller. So yeah, and when did it come out? February something? 6 or something. Where's my rest of my stuff? It's like my thing's all messed up here. I don't know what's going on with my browser. You guys can't see if you're listening, but if you're seeing, you're seeing. You're like, what's going on with this dude? Look, someone snaked me with a thumb down. The scumbag. I'm sure they didn't mean it, really. Thank you to all the new people as well that's been joining of late. We've got some new shorts out for our Resident Evil VR experience. We've had some new subs and stuff. Welcome to the family, son. But yeah, it's been out a few days. It's available on Xbox Game Pass, and I think it's on Steam as well. I was gonna say it's a Epic Games exclusive, but it's not. But what's interesting is it's kind of interesting because the Metacritic for it, I didn't actually prepare for this, but the Metacritic for it is a little bit mixed. But the Steam reviews are much more conclusive, shall we say? I mean, let's just drop that in there. And my thoughts on it, we played about, I think, 3 or 4 hours. I feel like we're halfway through already on 3 or 4 hours. As I go into my Steam here, I'm not logged in on this one, but it doesn't matter. Not logged in on my thingy. Steam be always logging you out. Like, and then you have to put this stupid code thing in every minute. Like, quit logging me out and stuff. Yeah, so it's on very positive at the moment. It was released, it says January 2021. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so yeah, obviously it features the talents of Akira Yamaoka-san. Probably butchered that. And the other guy as well, whose name is even harder to pronounce, despite my Japanese language learning. Iko Wikoskai, I'll go with. Look at them standing there like bad boys. I can't believe that it's probably almost 20 years since Silent Hill, right? With Yamaoka-san, so yeah, he's looking a little bit, he's looking good for his age, but he's looking older, because we're all getting older. It was 20 years ago, right? It's nuts. I don't know. But yeah, he's still a don, of course, you know. It's just like a Godfather version of music now, somewhat. But even the same is with Nobuo Matsu-san and what have you. We're all getting older. I got grey bits from places that I didn't know you could get grey bits now. That's one thing about birthdays and such. But yeah, it's an interesting game. It's not necessarily traditionally scary. It's more kind of like tense environment somewhat. It might be because of a couple of hours in VR in Resident Evil 7 will do that. It's just kind of like much more harder things to be scary. It might be that. I'm not sure, but yeah, some people are iffy about whether it's scary or not. So there's that minor factor to it. There's, for me, probably the main factors though is the fact that it's about 8 hours runtime. It costs UK money £40, 40 quid, 43 if you want that deluxe, or 44 if you want the deluxe even, and it's 8 hours long. Now, I've said this before in a stream and in other places and that, you know, I've spent £20 or £30 for a meal on a special day, you know, and that gets ravaged in 15 minutes. So this is still 8 hours for the similar money. So I don't know. Relatively speaking, though, it's quite short. I prefer something these days that is shorter than it probably could have been versus something that is longer than it should be. So I guess I'm feeling a bit mixed in that way. But we haven't finished it. We're halfway through. But it took a while for things to get really scary per se. It was more tense atmosphere so far in it. And then once we got to the end, it was like a chase sequence and such. And that was quite tense and that. And there was a jump scare that's in one of our shorts. If you check out the youtube.com/theinteger as well, you'll see that in that section. There's a clip of that. And it's got its moments, but it might be a bit too short and it might be a bit too linear for my taste, maybe. But if you don't mind a game that's very linear and quite short and to the point, with tense atmosphere, I would say that this is, it looks very nice as well. Some places it looks photorealistic in some ways with ray tracing, because this is a NVIDIA ray tracing supported game. So that's pretty cool as well. And yeah, it looks nice. Some of the animation model faces and stuff could do little work here and there. You know, but overall, I think the texture works pretty good overall. You can see if you're watching in the VODCAST version rather than the podcast version here, there's some nice visuals in there. Does Spotify do like video podcast, or is it just the sound? I don't even know. I don't know any of this stuff. So we're just trying this out. We'll see what's going on. But yeah, it looks really nice. And you know, there's that. So it looks nice. It plays fine. The puzzles are very simple. There's some optional things here and there, but not too much. It's very focused. So yeah, you know, but it feels like between depending on what happens in the next half of the game, it could be up to a 9, but it's kind of more like a 7.5 out of 10 at the moment. That's just a first impressions review right there for you guys. So that's the medium. It's at 71 overall. Metacritic, but who gives a damn about Metacritic, right? It's not really a rating thing. I think players are finding about 7 as well. So there you go. But it's higher on it's about 87% on Steam at time of recording. Worth checking out though. If you got it on Game Pass, definitely play it on Game Pass and you like Bloober Team's work. If you're a bit more on the fence, you might have to think about the price factor. But yeah, you know, I think that's all the things I wanted to cover there for that one. So I guess really the only thing to do is move on to Mass Effect Legendary Edition hype. Or a discussion at least of sorts. So, this one's an interesting one because there are a couple of things I want to cover within it and talk about. So, you probably know by now and you've probably seen the story about this. There's a couple of issues. It's cool that we're getting a 4K Ultra HD, especially if you have a 4K device or what have you, and you have the 4K capability to see it in there. But there are some considerations, I suppose, and that's that there's an argument there's maybe some censorship stuff going on, whether you call it censorship or not. There's also the issue that one of the DLCs won't be included, so it's kind of like the complete edition, but not of the trilogy. So in case you don't know as well, Legendary Edition of Mass Effect basically means Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, with all the DLCs minus the Pinnacle Station DLC. I just did a spit there. I bet I didn't capture out a little bit of spit coming out there. So yeah, it's 4K, it's HDR, it's giving the things a facelift and that, and making things look a little bit nicer. Some people are arguing that it's making things feel a little less kind of surreal and dark because it's lightening things up a bit. But it's a nightmare to get Mass Effect 3 all the DLC with the current Origin system that EA's got going on in there. So this is probably the only way to get it clean. But the Pinnacle Station DLC, which I remember to be, I can't remember if you guys know and remember, was the Pinnacle DLC a good DLC? I think it was. I remember it being a good DLC. Not very long, but good. Was that the one with the explosion thing, the explosive thingy-majiggy? I think it. Oh no, wait there. Wasn't that the one where you had to do like a shooting gallery type thing? Actually, so it's not maybe a big deal. Actually, more of a bigger deal is the fact that there's no now. Confession. Me and a crew of my boys then back when we used to just play a bunch of multiplayer stuff together. Mass Effect 3 multiplayer was our jam. We played that for about 8, 9, 10, 11 months straight exclusively. And it was that multiplayer, if you haven't played it, well, it won't probably be any good now because there's probably no one playing. But man, it was so good. It was beautiful. It's tactical. You know, you got so many different powers and stuff. You can, I would use my Asari and freeze dudes and then pop them in the head with the, is it Phalanx Cannon or whatever, that very powerful pistol. So good. And yeah, it's not included. And I'm surprised because EA usually like money. And they were selling a load of loot boxes with that game. But it wasn't pay to win because it was against AI, by the way. So you'd be like, four of the galaxy's finest, you could play as Asaris. The only thing you couldn't play as was probably Elcor, but you could unlock them and stuff, and it was very addictive. You could do powers and stuff. Such a good. I feel like playing it now, just talking about it. Did any of you guys have an addiction to Mass Effect 3 multiplayer like me and my boys did at one point? It was so good. And I say boys literally because mostly the guys, that one. Left 4 Dead, we had guys, girls, but Mass Effect 1 was the core crew. And that was the man's them. It was so good. I'm kind of sad that it's, I'm kind of sad that it's not, I mean, yeah, you like money. So I don't understand. But they're not doing it. So, yeah, in addition to that, though, they're going to cut back on butt shots, according to a PC Gamer article. I don't know about this, because there's already a suggestion that, to some practitioners of gaming, some people argue that, the wokeness of the Western society means that now women's sexiness is now censored altogether. Unless the woman is not, if a woman is not traditionally attractive in the medium, and I'm talking about the science of things, I'm not talking about, look, we're all lovely people inside, but I'm no Dolce & Gabbana model, okay? There are sexy people, and there are people, and some girls are sexy, They might not be sexy inside, but some girls are like,
Whoa.
that's just the way that be, and that's fine. But Western games especially seem to have a serious problem with the idea of attractive women, and the idea of attractive women or men enjoying attractive women. It seems to be fine if the character's like a lesbian or something, but if it's a heterosexual, to me, from my perspective, I saw Mass Effect 1 and 2 just kind of like let you do your thing. You want to do dudes, you can do dudes. You want to do chicks, you do chicks. You do want to do multiple, you do multiple. But like Mass Effect 3, even though I only got halfway through in that game, it seemed to change that whole thing. And I think they got different types of writers that might be why the reason that it changed. But like everybody wanted to just hang out all of a sudden. You had characters that wanted to play chess, and they literally wanted to play just chess. So yeah, it's not great. I do worry about it a little bit. Not that and I don't want to, I don't want to give the impression here that like Miranda butt shots are a deal breaker. I'm not saying don't buy a Mass Effect Legendary Edition now because you're not going to get the extra shots of a Miranda's butt. But like, it's, I don't know, it's kind of weird. We're in a world where a lot of women don't mind taking a lot of weird pictures and stuff of their body parts and disseminating it around the world. And Western games are scared of, women that look good. Because I mean, at the end of the day, any of us can be look a certain way for, but it takes a certain effort to look a certain way that is being potentially demonized, So I don't know, what else are they going to censor or remove or whatever you want to call it? I don't know. Is it no reaction? Do you guys care? Does it make a difference? Are you worried? Is it just, am I being a sexist, foolish male that needs to get a whole bunch of subscribers to our excellent Patreon that's now been updated and has a whole bunch of cool tiers like tier Ichi and tier Ni. And, we also have the Simpleton tier as well, the Simp tier 3. Tier 1 and up gives you access to the Velvet Room, but if you're really broke, you can always check out the tier 0, which is all good as well. But yeah, anyway, that just came out of nowhere. I'm sorry about that. I think that's everything I want to say. Oh, one more thing before we go down. There was a claim, I don't know if you guys remember this back in the day. In my day, there was a whole controversy about the Mass Effect Andromeda female characters, which by the way, they butchered the multiplayer on Andromeda. It just wasn't the same. But they kind of took these, and if you're seeing the visual, I don't know if you got a visual mode on Spotify Webby, but if you're seeing the visual here, I got the page up open here, and this is the sun. I know it's the sun, but it shows the original model here, and they've clearly squashed her face. They've squashed her face and squashed her nose and made it more dumpy. And then they got a male model here for the male Ryder. So the character's called Ryder in the protagonist in the game rather than Shepard. And they left his face pretty much the same. Whereas they made the... gosh, that guy that does makeup will be wetting himself over this guy right now. They literally squashed the female's face. So she looks kind of like girl next door dumpy, but it's clearly like a model that's like quite easy on. Like if you look at the original woman here, she's like she's a bit, you know, in a way that she doesn't look in the game, and it just doesn't make sense why they do that. And there was some kind of thing that was suggesting that there's a lot of games that have made girls just look consistently media scientifically unattractive, in the same way that people would say that I'm scientifically not as attractive as certain dudes in Hollywood or whatever. I don't know, right? So just in case, you know, girls think, you know, they're thinking that's type of thing. I'm saying the same for even myself. I'm not the male Madonna or nothing, but I don't expect all my games to have guys that look like me to balance things out. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with having attractive dudes in a game for the ladies or the guys if you're that way inclined, and there's nothing wrong with stuff for us straight boys either. We can have good looking girls. You know, look at all the girls in the Outer Worlds. They all look like they wear lumberjack. All right, let's not go there. Anyway, let's move on. Next, I think it's gonna be Google Stadia closing their first party studio stuff, among other things. All right, so yes, Google Stadia, a few days ago, 7 days ago, according to this article, has closed its internal studios. Now, if you don't know what Google Stadia is, or Stadia, I'm going to say Stadia because I'm learning Japanese and that's how you pronounce R, so I'm kind of like leaned that way now. I'm sorry, but that's just, you know, how it's going to be. But essentially, yeah, they've closed their internal studio, and Google Stadia is a way for you to play games in your browser. We've got some videos on it on the youtube.com/theinteger. If you check it out, it shows you and tells you how to set up a free account where you'll get a free month of using the pro version of the service, and even how to set up get the free games, as well as how some of the games look. There's one video or two separate videos if you only want one or the other. Go and check that out. I'm here for you. Essentially, aside from that, and there's some features in there. What's cool about it is that, you know, and we've done a little bit of Google Stadia, and there's more videos I've got. If you guys want more coverage of Google Stadia, if you want to see me do like a comparison video of I've got like 4 recordings of different versions of Doom 2016 playing on different systems, on the PC in pure form, on PC via streaming for PlayStation Now, on the PlayStation 4 downloaded, and on the Google Stadia, obviously. Might do a thing where it's like, can you guess which one? Because it's pretty good. It actually works pretty well, and if you are in the right circumstances for needing something like Google Stadia, it could be quite handy to have, I'd say. Now, my concern with Google Stadia has always been, if you ever heard me talk about this before, I've always had a major concern with Google Stadia, is that the idea of paying like £50 for games that require you to be online, and the idea of them deciding they don't want to do it anymore for whatever reason, and then you presumably lose access, well, you will lose access to your games if they don't run the servers for it. I can't see Google running these servers indefinitely if the service isn't active anymore. So you're taking a super big risk, and I would only recommend at the moment using Google Stadia in the sense of, like, if you're paying monthly, to just use it like you'd use PlayStation Plus or something for those kind of games that work while your subscription is active, because you already distance yourself from the idea of permanently owning those games somewhat. Now, in saying that, I've had some feedback from the community on Google Stadia that it works really excellently. I forget who it was that said it, so if you'd, give a shout out in the comments. But someone was saying that, they were playing a Cyberpunk on there. It looks great, works great, no problems, none of the bugs that a lot of people were having when it was first out and stuff. So it works really well. And I've played some stuff on there, and it works really well to me as well, and it looks really good. If you use it, there's a thing called Google Stadia Enhanced, I think it is. I've got Stadia Enhanced. I've got the version 1.8.10. That can help as well, because it can force Google Stadia to run in its 4K form. Otherwise, it looks quite nasty on a 4K display stuck at 1080p, which it can do sometimes. But running at the 4K. It looks really good actually, and it's kind of hard to tell once all the processing's happened on the videos and everything. Even at the same quality, you'll be hard pushed to tell one from the other. But yeah, that's what's going on with that. So essentially, they had a studio to make games in-house to showcase what Stadia is about, and they had Jade Raymond on the team. I'm sure you've heard of Jade Raymond, or maybe you haven't, but she was like one of the first prominent females in the gaming industry to really blow up at one of the E3s and that. Who's a producer basically of like Assassin's Creed and so forth. That's her most famous thing. I think she started as a programmer and what have you, so she's legitimate, and no disrespect or nothing. It's not meant to be disrespectful, but I want to mention why she made an impact as well. Apart from being skilled and good at her job, obviously, she was also easy on the eye. Just saying.
Whoa.
So that's kind of that was a thing. There was a lot of people on there having their hands below their belly button, so to speak. But she's a talented woman. She knows her stuff. And I think it's been the second or third time that she's been involved with something that's just shut down without anything being released. So she's had a bit of a tough luck with this whole nonsense. People keep shutting down their stuff before she can get anything out since. So she's still most famous for being the producer on Assassin's Creed. Oh, by the way, guys, for any of you guys that are thinking anything, yeah, she's like, last I checked, I think she's like married like 20 kids. So don't even go there. Okay, just don't. No. Anyway, so yeah, they decided to shut it down because essentially they think it's better to focus on just helping publishers and developers integrate and put their games onto Stadia. But it's a cop-out. They say that obviously it takes a lot of money to make games, and big AAA games, which is true. It takes money, it takes a lot of time. I mean, not everything takes like 8 or 9 years like a Cyberpunk, but I think 3-4 years is pretty typical now. I need to belch as well, sorry. Oh yeah, that was a good one. So yeah, that's true, but they could have, like, if you look at things like Among Us and that, they could have made something like Among Us to really kind of show what Stadia can do, right? Because Stadia, the interesting thing with Stadia is that it has a feature that links to YouTube. Features like allowing people to vote what should happen next in the game if you program it, of course I'm saying, you integrate into your game. Things like being able to jump into the game in a queue system, if you're subscribed to a channel or whatever. Features that I think really probably shouldn't be locked into Stadia because it would be useful more for YouTube in terms of competing with Twitch even more, which we'll talk about a bit more in the last section. But it's got those features in there, and it would have been a great way to showcase how that can be utilized if they came up with something that was like an Among Us, a more kind of single A or double A version rather than triple A. And so instead of spending like 10 years and loads of money and loads of risk, they still could have used the talents of someone like Jade Raymond to produce something like that and get people working on something like that is easier or can just scale a little bit over time rather than going for big AAA stuff. So I think that would have been a better move than just closing it, which affects 150 developers, by the way. So hopefully everyone finds jobs and got a payout or something, because these aren't the best times to be having issues with income. I can attest. So again, if you're rich, do share it with us. Hit up that Patreon or what have you. Or there might even be like a support thing you can do on the Spotify or something. I don't know how that works, but do one of those things and I'll love you forever, or at least until you don't want to give a brother any more money. Then I'll just love you normal, So I think that's everything I want to say about Google Stadia, but it's pretty impressive so far. Let me know if you want more content on it and what have you. What do you guys think? Do you think that they should go with the method I was talking about, which is maybe just have gone for smaller games that don't take forever to make, but really showcase what Google Stadia is about? Something very mobile, addictive style games like an Among Us in a way. If you look at the mobile game market, a lot of the multiplayer games are very, addictive for people and dominate a lot of the viewing stuff. So like, why not just have done that and do games that style that they could get out quickly, save a whole bunch of money, and then they would get the best of both worlds? Does this make you more worried about Stadia? It certainly does for me. And it certainly reinforces my idea of like, don't put a lot of money into this because I don't trust it. I don't know if Google's got a habit of getting rid of things if it doesn't blow up straight away, which is kind of ironic considering that's exactly what you shouldn't do if you want to get YouTube working for you. Google give up on things the way that people give up on YouTube. So don't do that. But yeah, if you've put a lot of money into Google Stadia, I don't want to make you nervous. I don't want to clickbait you or anything, but I'd be a little bit worried and concerned. Just be careful. Try and stick to the and you know, there's a free tier thing, but again, it's only while it's active, so just be careful. But it would have been a good idea for them to just go with the smaller Among Us style game to showcase the features that link with the YouTube that's addictive on mobile devices, since it's a streaming service thing, and then that would have been better, but they kind of up. Anyway, let's move on, shall? YouTube clips and milestones of the channel and just streaming stuff generally, maybe, I don't know. We're roughly at about 10 minutes per subject, but I don't know if we've gone over or not. Trying to keep this a little bit low. We're at 40 minutes already. Ah! All right. So yeah, YouTube has finally got its version of clips, and it's interesting. Why they put my damn email up on the screen and everything? It's interesting because so it's 5 to 60 seconds, and it's interesting because it's a discussion of like, I guess of, you know, a lot of people are wondering, should they stream on YouTube? Should they stream on Twitch? From my experience and my opinion, I don't think it makes a damn difference right now, because live format content has the same problems irrespective of where you are and where you're doing it. The only difference between YouTube and Twitch right now is that YouTube has better, Twitch has better integration with third-party API tools, you know, things like, you know, native voting mechanism, native betting mechanism in terms of like, you know, will I win the next game or will I die type of thing. Things like hype trains, which are casino versions of making you spend more money without you even noticing it. Better brand recognition in terms of like emotes and different things like that. Essentially, YouTube is a closed platform, right? It's proprietary, whereas Twitch is a bit more open with their API and stuff, so you can get a lot of third-party things going. You can do a lot of more integration things. You can do, you know, you can do things like make things come on your face randomly by someone redeeming points, which we've got things like that on our Twitch where you can use it in a minute and so forth. If you want to follow the Twitch, by the way, we know we ain't actively on it right now, but twitch.tv/the-integer. It's always the integer pretty much for almost everything. But yeah, you can do that if you want to. We would appreciate it if we end up using it. We'll see you there, but right now we're on the YouTube thing, innit? So yeah, it's an interesting battle right now, because what's more interesting, and you can see maybe from some of the tabs if you're watching video form here of this podcasting, is the fact that we have a lot more monetization options open to us once we hit 1,000, especially as a gaming channel, which I might have the comparison thing to show here. That is interesting. So yeah, we're almost at well, we need the watch time as well. We're about halfway on the watch time, in case anyone's interested in this. Well, we put milestones as the subject here. We're at time of recording and looking right now, we're at 626 subscribers. It'd be fun if we can hit 1,000 this year. It's just a little milestone thing. If you like the content, do follow and subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on, follow on whatever platform you're listening or watching on, because it's just cool to know that people are interested, and then that people enjoy or appreciate the hustle. So do that. It's free to do so, and you might be one of the people contributing to us hitting 1,000 on something. Closest being on YouTube, but we do need to watch time, so go and watch some videos. Go watch some of the feature videos and stuff. Go watch that Google Stadia one or whatever. Leave comments and stuff. And what's that noise? Someone's been goofy in the household right now going, quit! I'm trying to record. What the hell? Anyway, so yeah. Interestingly though, they got the clips thing coming up, and they're testing it at the moment. It's just pretty much big channels. Best place to test clips is big channels. Best place to test these kind of things is big channels anyway. You'll probably be able to like test it on like, or you can test it on YouTube's own creator thingy majiggy page thing. You'll probably be able to test it on like, you know, PewDiePie and Valkyrie and all those guys and girls of bigness. We ain't got it yet, as far as I know, but the idea is, what's clever about this clips thing is that it doesn't seem to make separate video like Twitch does with all these goofy names like Pantsless Panda or whatever. What it does is it takes a segment of the video and then puts that link of that segment or that chunk that you selected of 5 to 60 seconds associated with the person that created it. Theoretically, what this should mean is that even if someone does the same points in the video, it should be fine because it's connected to their actual account. And then obviously you're able to just watch that segment of that live stream or whatever else. But it also has the benefit of maybe making someone watch the whole thing. Once they click out of that thing, I think they said that it still counts to watch time as well. So it operates normal, which is pretty damn cool, I think. It's a clever idea. They should give that person a raise because essentially they've saved YouTube money as far as freaking more video. It takes no space on their drives or what have you because it just uses segments of the videos already on the system. It's clever. It's a clever system, it seems, provided it works. We don't know yet, but it seemed to work pretty well. So it's a good step in the right direction. And yes, should you stream on one or the other? Again, doesn't make a difference. There's not much discoverability on just live. You have to make the content. I know everyone's always preaching it now, and everyone's fed up of hearing that. People that wanted me to just be streaming, and that's it. By the end of the day, I proved that it doesn't do anything. It's been proven many times. You can't just stream. Everybody can stream. Cats can stream. A cat streaming, playing Valorant averagely is more interesting than watching me play Valorant averagely or anyone else, right? So this is doesn't make a difference, but if you need a little bit of watch time stuff, like we're close, it makes sense for us to stream on YouTube right now because we get a little bit of watch time. If you guys hang out in those streams, even if this is 3 or 4 people or maybe 10 or whatever, then that gives us a little bit of watch time, gets us closer to that milestone, community milestone, right? And also as well, obviously, it gives a brother a chance to get some dollar. So yeah, do that. Do subscribe and watch a bunch of things. Okay, so looking at my time, this is going to be almost an hour-long video. I was trying to make these all 10 minutes long, but then we got 5 subjects, so it makes sense. But don't worry, we'll separate them and make a bunch of content. So yeah, speaking of that was interesting, I wanted to say finally on this really, was the fact that a whole bunch of features on YouTube as far as comparing to Twitch in terms of monetization or ways that you can support your favorite content or content creators or whatever you want to call them. Vloggers, bloggers, goggers, smoggers, and joggers. So obviously it's advertising revenue, right? Now, what's interesting is, if I can see it, channel memberships, which are basically the equivalent of Twitch subscription, it used to be something that was for 10,000 minimum. Now they've now dropped that down at some point to 1,000 subscribers. It used to be 10,000. Or was it 20 or 30,000, something like that? Super chat and stickers, I'm pretty sure that used to be something mad as well. Well, not mad, but it used to be higher. But now that is, you can see that I've already clicked the links for watching in the video form here. But now that is just channel monetized. That's literally it, which means 1,000. So that's changed as well. That used to be like 10 or something thousand, I think. I could be wrong. And if anyone knows that I'm wrong, then do share, I don't mind. Don't mind being wrong. The only thing that you don't get now, and there was a thing, I don't know if I've got it open here, I wanted to see. There was a thing somewhere, it was interesting. I can't find it right now, but there was a link that said that you had to have 30,000 subscribers to have channel memberships. And then a byline before it or after said that you only need 1,000 if you're a gaming channel. To me, this is a clear statement of intent that they're trying to actually really start to take advantage of their presence and really give Twitch a run for its money. So essentially, this is the equivalent of Twitch's 75 concurrent viewers, and was it 500 followers? 500 followers, I think it is. 500 followers and 75 average views. But this is their equivalent. You still need that 4,000 hours of watch time, and that's what's going to kill you basically, because that's not as easy. You can't just do like freaking montages where people just click it and what have you. No one's gonna be able to click it because no one's gonna find that stuff. It's harsh, but it's true. But it's gonna definitely separate the boys from the girls, or the girls from the boys, or the men from the boys, and the women. Anyway, but yeah, obviously affiliation is very easy on Twitch, pretty much. It's a milestone, but it's not so hard because they let you count as a viewer, for Pete's sake. So that's clearly a sign that it's not meant to be hard, and they lock you into streaming on Twitch by just being an affiliate. Whereas YouTube, you can still stream wherever the hell you want, and you get a lot more for the 1,000 subscribers as a gaming channel now, or at least it's a channel in general, maybe. There's a lot of features there, so they clearly want to compete, but they don't want to compromise what it means to get monetization on YouTube. So yeah, it's interesting times. Definitely keep an eye out on YouTube, and definitely keep an eye out on our YouTube, youtube.com/theinteger. And congratulations to anyone that's hit any milestones on any of the platforms. Congratulations if you hit your affiliate or your monetization on YouTube or whatever you. We celebrate you. Well done. No mean feat. Awesome. Hope to join the club soon enough. In saying that though, you know, these are interesting times, so just be grateful that we're about alive and kicking, and we have the chance to even try or to even fail. And that leads us nicely into what will be our final segment, which is just basically me saying, you know, aside from thank you for watching or listening, because it's weird you could be listening as well. This is a weird thing. I don't know how this is going to work. And I got to think about the transcribing limits time thing. Anyway, don't worry about it. So yeah, we got next coming up on the channel. It should be the next stream should be the banned footage volume 1 and 2 for PlayStation VR in Resident Evil 7. So if you're getting ready for Resident Evil 8 and Lady Dimitrescu and a silliness of being 9'6", what's up with that? Then come and join us in the world of VR. It'll be fun. We get the voice thing going, so I can hear what's going on in the chats, and you know, it won't hurt the watch time. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, I know I keep going on about it, but it has to be done. We got new YouTube Shorts as well, which is our equivalent of TikTok for adults. So definitely check that out if you're into that kind of thing. If you feel like, you know, that like shorts are, no, not shorts, like TikToks are for like kids, you'll be right. So check out ours, which is for adults, basically. It's a good time. And there's about 70 videos in there for you to enjoy of just some of the finest curated, picked content available, known to man or woman or beast or cat. Facts. So do that. We also are likely going to be covering some more Google Stadia stuff. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of this. Do you want more of this? Is this a good thing? Is this a good thing? Will anyone find this stuff? Will anyone find this on Spotify? How do people find things on Spotify? Is Spotify kind of like Twitter, where only people find things on there if you already established somewhere else, kind of thing? Is this a waste of time? Was this cringy? Are you guys offended by my words or my afference or appearance? Is afference a word? I don't know. I might have just made up a new word. Afference sounds good. And also as well, apart from Resident Evil stuff that we'll be playing and what have you, we might also be checking out the System Shock, because they got some things going on with that is going to be coming up soon, and I lost my saves on it. I want to do that again. So it's mixed up with some retro, and then more Resident Evil stuff, only a bunch of Resident Evil stuff. But streaming, like I said, is like a lost leader at the moment. So until we get a bunch of people in the Velvet Room, and the people in the Velvet Room are very happy, by the way, we're gonna have to be very, very, and I mean very careful. That was the wrong one. So I got it on the second attempt. Anyway, so yeah, that's all of the stuff. I don't want to go any longer because this is like 54 minutes. How long are podcasts? And do people listen to podcasts for 54 minutes? What the hell's wrong with you, man? Do you do that? Well, I suppose if you're like on a bus or a train, do you like listen to someone that's blabbering on? Like myself for like whatever time? I don't know. I don't know how this stuff works. I don't know, but you know what? What I do know, it's time for me to wrap it up. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share with a friend. Share with a girlfriend who will share with her girlfriend. Wait, no, that's not right. Unless you're into that kind of thing. Share with somebody, because that helps. Share it on Reddit. I'm not allowed to. If I share it on Reddit, I'm self-promoting. Share on your Reddit. Share on your socials. Share on your Twitter. Share with an ex. Share with your cat. They might share it with their friends that are dogs. Do the stuff. Support the things. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching. We love you in these times, guys. Be safe. Give someone you love a hug. No, don't give them a hug, actually. Don't hug them. Okay, just give them a air hug. Okay, like this. Just do that. And we love you, and we'll catch you on the next one if we manage to do anything with this. Okay, thank you.